What's going on today, guys? I hope everybody's having a blessed, wonderful day. I hope my mic's not terrible either. I have two mics that I've been using, and sometimes you guys have may in the past have heard a better quality than others. If that's an issue for you guys, comment down below, let me know. I am seriously trying to figure out how to get it set up in a way to where when I record these voiceovers and when I record these audio clips, I can actually use my better mic. At the moment, I'm using my headset mic. I hope it's not too terrible and microwavy, but hey, hopefully you guys can still hear me and understand what I'm saying because I have a few things I want to get off my chest and say in this video, and I would love for you guys to actually give feedback or at least something because I know that a lot of the time my videos may come across as very reactionary and very quick-witted or not that much thought is put behind them, but there is, and a lot of the time what I'm trying to say isn't able to be enunciated the right way until like the end of the video when all of my thoughts are cohesive. But that's what my job is, and that's what I'm trying to work on. I hope today's video is enjoyable. I wanted to talk about Marathon. Last time I posted a video, I literally said I wasn't having fun, but that's because I wasn't, and I didn't understand anything about the game. I spent more time with the playtest. Sadly, the playtest is over. It ended today, this morning. I could not get to level 30. I was trying to grind my way out to level 30, but when you have an Arc Raiders expedition going on and Battlefield updates dropping at the same time, it gets a little tricky and you end up leaving one of your games to the wayside. And this is going to be footage I literally used for the last video because I don't have extra. I don't have an extra I didn't have enough space, nor did I even feel comfortable with posting what I had because honestly, the clips weren't working. Like I was getting straight recording footage, like I was recording footage, so I wasn't getting clips. So when I would record the footage, it wouldn't be guaranteed that I'd get a clip in the footage. So it was very dry, and I might as well have kept what I used, which is what I'm doing. But I wanted to talk about actually how much time I put in. The last time I was on here, I had about 4 hours on the playtest, like actual playtime. People always want to say that they have this amount of playtime when it's really just the Steam number because their fucking computer's on. No, bro, give me an actual representation of how much time you're in Raid. So my playtime on the Steam store says about 24 hours of playtime. I'm gonna cut that in half. I've played Marathon for about 12 hours, and that's being honestly like conservative. I know for a fact I played more than 12 hours, but I know for a fact I haven't played more than 20. Okay? So it was in that ballpark number of how much playtime I got to around level 20 in the playtest, so I was really close to getting to 30. I also found out that this was a really interesting playtest. This was a full build of the game, but it wasn't the game. So what they basically did was they made a separate version of the game on a smaller client. Guys, if you were able to grind it out enough, you were able to do a whole lot in this playtest. The highest level I saw was level 37, and I didn't know it continued after level 30. So that showed that there was some serious depth when it came to this playtest for the people who were really trying to stick their teeth into this. The thing that I noticed and said about the last video was I wasn't having fun and I didn't understand what was going on. The barrier to entry in this game is way too high. Not saying it's impossible, not saying it's a bad game. This game is the type of game, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I'm pretty sure you've heard a lot of people iterate that. It's also not holding your hand. And I feel like that is a detriment, but it's also its strength, because it's going to weed out the people who genuinely don't want to play or aren't interested. So when you do have people who are interested, they're going to ride with you. It's the same thing that happened with Destiny. If you don't like the sci-fi aesthetic in the Destiny world, hey man, go to other games. Hell, we even made Halo. So that's what their idea philosophy is behind that. There's also another sentiment that I've heard a lot that was in my last video because people have an issue with comparing new things to things that they feel familiar with. I understand that this game feels familiar to Apex and to other games you may have played, but in all actuality, this is nothing like you've ever played. The only thing that I have can confidently say is similar to any other game is the mechanics of the shooting, okay? And it ain't Apex, it's Destiny. It's not Apex, it's Halo. And that's the closest it gets to. The TTK is absurdly fast because I think we all have low armor. And this is another thing I saw a lot about too, which was people were talking heavily about, which is them basically super glazing the game. Like, bro, I get it, you like it, but don't sit here and tell people that the UI isn't bad. No, it is. Okay, I do not want my Hulu UI. I don't want that in this game. I don't want every game to look like Hulu. But at the end of the day, the UI in this game did and does need some work. It's rough, okay? And what I would say for the biggest fix is just have more color coding going on with these um actual icons and squares. Like, I understand that there's a blue hue behind the backgrounds to show me the rarity. Make that blue or yellow or whatever color it is, make it pop more. I want it to be where if I have an inventory full of gray items, I can still decide what I'm looking at. If I have 3 rows of gray items, it gets very complicated very, very fast. Now, that also is what a lot of people have been saying is if not if, but they have been saying this game isn't for you, and they might, what the words are what they're trying to say is they're not holding your hand, and it's not for you if it's not for you. Not every game's going to be for you. I like that statement, but at the same time, they can also make this game for a lot more people. A lot of people like the style, but it's very overwhelming. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, also the way that they can fix the overwhelmingness of the lighting and of the environment is to genuinely turn down the fog or the bloom effect. I'm not saying tune the graphics down, but allow me to see farther for longer. I don't like the fact that the runners, I keep calling them raiders, but the shells or the runners are pretty much the same as the AI. I know that the full game isn't out. There's like 2 to 3 more new maps that we haven't even touched. My biggest concern is that when we get to these new maps, it's going to be the same blue robots. And even when it comes to like the boss variants of these robots, I mean, they're really the same color. One of them's even just a light purple, which is just a variation of blue. Like, I like lilac is what they wanted to call it, which is a real color, but it's like you guys could have got a little bit more creative when it came to these schemes of these robots. You could have designed them a little bit more different so they don't look so similar to the boxy runners. I feel this way, and I hope I'm not saying the same thing that you guys have watched on other YouTube channels, you know, because it's true. And I wanted to kind of correct and more or less give a deeper thought process of my experience with this game. I really, really played it a lot more after I got off that video because there was something there. There is something here. And I came from Destiny, so when it comes to like the way they were delivering the story and the lore entries, guys, they have me hooked. But like, it's not a story game, so I still have to go through the bullshit to get to the story. And one quest, the Traxxas quest, took me 2 hours because every time I tried to complete it on Dire Marsh, there were teams that would just run me through the ground. Now, I know Dire Marsh is a PvP map, but okay, here's another example. I think that they should keep the maps and the missions kind of separate. If you need to go around doing missions, don't put that in the maps with the PvP. But at the same time, if you're good at PvP and you just go around killing everybody, now you have the entire map to loot. There are a lot of good things I like about this game compared to Ark. Nobody spawns in after the match has started unless it's a solo rook. Now look, my boy, if you get cooked by a rook, honestly, he deserves that. Straight up, he does. I'm not gonna act like he doesn't. And I like that part because I hate when you're in Arc Raiders and you just got done wiping 3 different teams and a fourth one pulls up with fresh gear and you're sitting there with a shield about to break or you have no nades left. Arc Raiders it's a great game, but you can tell the PvP is not something they thought about. That PvP felt like it was an afterthought, which is something they did tell us, so it's not like false advertisement. They added PvP after the game was finished, pretty much, and it feels that way. Now, give Arc Raiders another 6 months to a year, hopefully the PvP is better. But at the same time, if it never changes, nobody should really have a problem with it. That game isn't designed for you to go around wiping squads and then looting the map. People will continuously spawn in up until 15 minutes. Marathon ain't like that. Marathon is designed around PvP. Not saying that um, it's better but it's different in its own way, and I can totally see myself adding this into the rotation solely for the fact that I do like being friendly on Arc Raiders. You've heard it from a lot of your YouTubers. Dude, you even get flack for killing people on Arc Raiders. I mean, I don't even like killing people on Arc Raiders. I have a screenshot that I put into the Reddit where I literally wrote down, I killed a man today, and I feel like my soul is tainted. It feels terrible to kill people in Arc Raiders. It feels like it's something you shouldn't be doing. Marathon, everybody knows what's up, and we're all on that timing. I had a couple games where I was running around with people who were higher level than me, and we wiped the lobby, got all the missions done, took out some gold stuff and some purple stuff, and went right back in. But at the same time, I guess you could say I'm trying to get over that initial pain of dying because I feel it in Arc Raiders and I feel it in Marathon where I'll die on some BS, straight up BS, and I almost don't want to run it again. I feel like there's certain moments where that BS death can be negated or you can work on it. Arc Raiders has it, this game has it where there's genuinely guys, you've experienced it. You'll die, you'll get to the button, you're right in front of the button. This is an Arc Raiders analogy or example. You'll get down right in front of the button, right before you press the button, the train leaves like right in your face. I feel like there should be some sort of grace period where if you're literally inside the train tunnels before the gate closes, you should be able to press the button. There's certain things that I feel like need some flexibility with that game. But this game is this isn't about Arc Raiders. This is about Marathon. So I'm trying not to compare the two. Excuse me, sorry. I'm trying not to compare the two too much, but they are competing for a similar spot of attention in your library. They're both extraction shooters. They're both really cool. They're both in depth. Like, they're fighting for the same spot. But at the same time, Marathon's one of those games where it's also like Arc Raiders where you're not going to be able to just hop on casually and expect to just like have a good time. This game is very deep, and I like that part. One of the comparisons I honestly had when I was playing with my duo was this game feels like extraction shooter cyberpunk. The way that the way that the implants work, the way that the shield system, the weapon mods work, it all feels like cyberpunk extraction version. And I like that. But at the same time, me and my duo had the same idea. A lot of these implants and augments, they need to be streamlined. Some of these augments are actually useless. Now I understand that they are supposed to be used in synergy with other items, but no. Like some of them are just bad. They're just bad. And I'm trying to come up with an example right now, but one of them I could say I think was pings nearby hostiles once you defeat a USC commander. No, bro. It, After 3 hours of this game, I figured out, nah, you ain't supposed to shoot the bots. The bots need a rework as well. I don't want them to be so spongy. They need to either drop if they're gonna stay the way they are, which honestly isn't too terrible. If they stay the way they are, they need to drop mandatory fresh heals and fresh ammo. Guaranteed, no ifs, ands, buts, or questions about it. Because the minute you start shooting these bots, someone else near you is gonna come and send it to you. But if you have no heals and no meds, now you can't fight. There's been multiple times where me and my duo were fighting and then just couldn't anymore because we had nothing left, right? One thing I also really do like about this game, another, is the fact that when you die, you can get raw back. I mean, you won't have any guns or nothing, but because if they looted you, you won't have anything. But I love the fact that at any time in the game, as long as you stay in the raid, your teammate can bring you back. That also creates an issue of ratting because now, if you truly think about it, the smart players, if they only kill two people, they're going to sit on top of that body and wait for you to come back. And you will die because you won't expect them to still be there even 10 minutes later. Some people have done that. It's happened to me. I've had people wait 15 minutes for me to get a res off just for me to die by the same people. So that part I kind of don't like, but it's the push and pull and the pros and cons of having a system like that. Yeah, you can get res whenever, but people will camp you. So good luck, buddy, right? Another thing I think needs work is the VoIP is terrible. I think that if you're on a controller, they need to make it mandatory VoIP open all the time. They need to make it to where if you're gonna be able to change VoIP on and off, you have to turn it off, not turn it on. They should not give people the option to turn it off because controller players, I mean, dude, you don't have a push to talk button. How are you gonna just open it up and start yapping? Now, I will say, in a game like this, so far, VoIP hasn't even been used. No one used it. I think I came across two people using it once, and one of those guys was max level 30. So there's that part, right? And It's just one of those things where it needs work on the VoIP. Seriously, it does very, very, very badly. The audio though, the audio design, after you got used to it and understanding certain sounds and footsteps and how things kind of worked, it was good. It was actually good. I could understand that somebody was above me, below me, that they were on a different tile if they were running at me. I like that part. Now, the other fact is that unlike Arc Raiders where you get third partied until the damn game's over, this game is actually like Rat Central comparing its art graders. Like people are gonna seriously wait for you to loot, shoot a bot, run around, make too much noise. Like that's what they're waiting on. They're crouch walking the entire POI until you do something that makes them notice you, which is not good. I do not like that. At the same time, just run Blackbird and you'll be able to scan hostiles. So there's that. There's counters to a lot of stuff. This game's really, really deep, and like I said, the more I kept playing it, the more and more I wanted to keep playing it. I still don't know if I'm gonna buy it though. I don't think it's too much of a price entry, but at the same time, man, money's rough right now for a lot of people. The best thing I can say, if you're taking any of my advice, most likely you're not, but because you actually probably want to buy the game if you're watching this video, bro, if you have a decision to make between this game and something else important, don't do that. If you have $40 that you were gonna blow on food, buy the food, obviously. But if you have like, I don't know, some change laying around, this is a good game to buy. You know, Another thing I would say is if you're not playing anything else, if you're not invested into any other game that's heavy, then don't then buy it because this game will be supported and is made by people who like depth in their video games. So you won't have to worry about is this game going to be enough for me? If anything, you have to worry about it being too much for you because this game is made by people who literally didn't even put voice lines for their lore entries for years, decades. Oh, a decade. Okay? Anytime you wanted to look up something in Destiny, you had to literally watch a YouTube video. Okay? Because the lore entries were all written, they were never, ever spoken. That's one of the things I love about this game and why it has me hooked the way I do, and why the longer I've been playing, the more I want it back. I'm not gonna lie, I want it back. You know, the story that they're able to deliver to you and the way that it's given is so nice with these missions and how they're narrating it all. I love it. I really am getting old nostalgic vibes from Destiny 1, man, and that game was way better than Destiny 2. Bite me and fight me to the end of this day. I think Destiny 1 was better than 2 because Destiny 1 is what laid the foundation for us to even have a 2. Okay? There wouldn't be a 2 without the 1. So the 1 is always going to be better in my opinion. Plus I played it. There was one really, really, really bad thing about Destiny 1, which was 30 frames per second. That was terrible, and it lasted like that until a new game dropped. It was actually garbage, but I mean, this game is really deep. I'm messing with it. I think they really, really need to have better AI enemies, different variations. Like, give us some wildlife to fight. Like I know there was a cat, like they showed a pink one, but like put a lion on the map, put a tiger, put a space tiger, put a space elephant. That'll give us like heals and meat and different stuff. Like make the game and maps more full of life, so that the only thing that so to make it more interesting, because after a couple raids, the appeal is there, but the real reason why you keep running raids in this game is because once you get all these quests and missions done, you're going in and you're build crafting, you're figuring out cool ways to wipe teams, you're figuring out what cool shit can you do with the character and build that you made. But after that it's gonna get boring after a while because I mean, not boring, but repetitive. Not boring. Because killing people is never going to get boring because every person's going to be different. Every situation's going to be different. Even if it's similar, it's going to be different, right? I'm thinking that when you add these different, like flora and fauna, not that poison shit they have, but like literal animals and different types of designed robots or different even people, aliens, like I know they have those cooking, the four, I think that's what they're called. I know that they're in the files and we've seen pictures of them, but like, why weren't they in the beta? Tease it. Give us like a really big boss enemy that has a chance to spawn once a day, on some queen stuff. And I know that I can't say too much because it's just a server slam. They weren't really trying to show off everything the game had to offer. It was really just testing the servers, which I will say to answer that question for Bungie, or to even answer your guys' question, did the servers hold up? For the most part, for the most part, I wasn't crashing every game, but me and my duo had some serious bugs, man. There was a couple times where the match would just genuinely crash and close out. We'd get all of our loot back, but all the things that we did in that raid amounted to zero, serious nothing. Zero, nothing. We had to go in again like nothing happened. We just wasted 20 minutes, right? I don't like that. And the amount of times that it was happening, that needs to change. I don't want them to drop the game and it sit there and crash on me all day you know. But I feel like the way that this game is making me feel, unless I can, hey, if I come across $40 in the next like 2 days before the game drops, of course I'm gonna get it. But if it's something that I don't come across, then I'm not getting it, and I'm gonna wait to see this post-launch concept, no, this post-launch production, and if it's worth anything of its merit, which it probably will be, then that's when I will sit here and invest. Because I think that this game could be something because it's coming from a company that has done insane work in the past. But it's like, it's looking rough. It's looking rough. The one thing I hear, and I 100% agree with, is Marathon needs time to breathe. It needs its time to grow and to prosper. If it doesn't, or if it's not given the time to prosper, of course it's going to fail. This game feels like it needed just more time in the lab. It feels like it needed genuinely a year, 6 months to cook a little bit longer. But if this is something that already piques your interest, definitely invest into it, because if you get in on the ground floor, you'll be able to be at a point that nobody else will be able to be unless you're a YouTuber or a pro player, you know? Like if you're just naturally not that good at video games, this is something you want to get in on the ground floor so you can actually learn it along other people learning it with you. So when you are doing your thing, you ain't got to worry about dying all the time and it's not going to be super frustrating, you know? I think that the blood trail effect that they added into the game is super cool as well. It accounts for like less ratting. I even thought I got away at one point, but he found me. I find that super, super cool. And I mean, the customization got me interested, guys. The thing that I'm hoping that they do is that they don't. I hope they don't try and rob us for money. I hope that they don't overflow with skins and super ugly and super expensive cosmetics. Like, I hope that they kind of do the Arc Raiders route where they have free season passes, at least for a while. Like, if you're going to charge us to play the game, I don't want to pay any more to get extra content. Obviously, the storefront is going to have its skins. I'm not saying don't put skins in a store and a storefront in the game. That's unrealistic for modern gaming. That's unrealistic. But what I am saying is give us a lot of free options. Give me options that make me think, okay, I can get a lot of cool stuff for free too instead of spending money. The reason I say that is because I bought Arc Raiders and I to this day haven't spent a dime. And yet if they were to drop a battle pass or a new skin bundle, I can buy it. I can buy it. I can buy 3 of them. And I like that. I just don't like buying games and then spending more money. Battlefield. Like, bro, I'm never buying a season pass in Battlefield. I'm never buying the BF Pro. I'm never buying any of these skins. And maybe the $4 ones, the $4.99, the $5.99 ones. The highest I'll go is 10, and that's if it's giving me coin. I'm never buying a skin in that game. And I don't know why Battlefield is cooking their market like this. It's like they forgot who they used to sell to. Like, no one's buying skins in Battlefield, and they never have. Okay? They got us with 2042 because that was the first time, and we thought it was gonna be some cool shit. And that game, look what it did to the player base in the community, you know. But I really hope that you guys were able to enjoy today's video. I just wanted to hop on my soapbox, yap for a while, man. I really, really enjoyed the marathon playtest. There are some huge things they need to work on. My stance right now is I'm not going to buy it unless I come across $40. My stance is still, if they wanted the barrier, if they really, really honestly wanted people to play this game like and really mean it, they should have made it free and should have just did founder edition bundles. They should have did hella skins. They should have done that free play route in that way, genuinely, because man, when you have free to play games, it really does allow for people to get in at a lower cost of entry. And people and the developers want to say we made it cost money so we could stop cheaters. Dude, you're using BattlEye anti-cheat. Stop bullshitting. You're literally not going to stop anybody from getting in this game. In 3 months, there's going to be cheaters flooded out the wazoo. So that's also why it's like hard for me to pay for this game. Why would I pay for BattlEye anti-cheat. Why? Why would I do that? It's hard for me to think about a good reason other than the fact that I do like the game, which I do like the game, but it's like, man, right now, I'm gonna have to see what they got. Give me a little something else. Give me a little something else. And especially now that I didn't hit level 30, like now I really don't gotta rush that bad because I was trying to hit level 30 to get the little booster pack for when I start playing. But it looks like I'm not getting that booster pack. I hope you guys were able to enjoy the Yap session today. Please comment down below. Let me know if you guys can relate or even understand where I'm coming from. You know, give me your perspective on things. How into Marathon are you? Is it something that you see yourself playing? Would you like to see this on the channel? You know, I really do think that I'm gonna at least put maybe one or two more videos out about Marathon because it is something that spikes my interest, but I don't know when you guys are going to see those videos because I don't know when I'm buying the game. The game releases on March 5th. If you're interested, definitely put your ticket in. This is going to be, I think, the best PvP shooter, extraction shooter on console. Delta Force is dead in the water, and Arc Raiders really they don't want you shooting people. So this is good, and this is something the market needs, and we should want this to succeed. You know, I want it to succeed. The reason I had my video and had my strong feelings was because I felt like I wasn't having fun because I wasn't. That's how a lot of people are going to feel. The barrier is really, really high for this game, but there's something there. And there's and the replayability and the fact that, you know, you kind of want to keep going tells you something, you know? I think that Marathon is here to stay. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Comment down below, let me know. Kari out.